Welcome to the Just Bake channel. This is the channel where we do things and say stuff. Lil Mattress here, recapping the Ultimate Madness 3 tournament, talking about all these battles here. Next battle up, Geechi versus Riggz. I can't imagine too many people had Riggz winning in their bracket, but it is what it is. You got people get a chance, and that's one of the beautiful things about tournaments and rounds like this, to where, hey, there could be that long shot that fucks up everybody's bracket, but it really wasn't happening here, especially with Geechi in California. He raps different when he's in California, and I'm not saying anybody's cheating or giving him better responses in California, just Geechi's more comfortable there, in my opinion. When I see him rapping in California, he just has a different demeanor about him. Geechi starts it off. He has skeleton and corpse bars that were okay, a little bit of comparative bars there. I'll knock your bitch's wig off and sell her a different one. That shit was dope, because one of the things too about Geechi is he has that thing where he can pretty much tell what people are going to rap about when they battle him. They're going to rap about hair. They're going to rap about a tree, the gangster shit, and not too much else you can say about Geechi. And I don't mean that he's a one-sided thing. I mean, those are kind of like the standout things that people rap about Geechi. You could be on Rookies versus Vets and battle yourself, because he was talking about how Riggz has been around for a while, but nobody really knows him. That was a pretty cool way to put that, talking about 100K rounds. Of course, over this battle tournament, there's going to be so many people that have 100K bars, but that comes with the territory. Geechi, if my stock drops, that means I beat you with the part of the gun till it came off. Pretty cool way to put it. Give a fuck about your kids or how they do in school, because these bullets are zooming too. Everybody knows what's happening with the Zoom calls. Battle rap Magic Johnson, fucking bitches can't kill me. I mean, Magic Johnson bars are unfortunately something we got to deal with. But Geechi came out strong round one. Came out like the newest veteran that he is. He came out like he knew he was not going to lose, and, spoiler alert, he didn't lose. But Riggz round one, what did he do up here? Riggz flipped Geechi's famous saying on him of "man use a bitch," came up with the "man use a crip." That was cool, little flip there. Unfortunate garbage Biggie, Gravy, Gorilla Black, big difference line, because that's just too, like, we're talking about Street Fighter bars. The Biggie, Gravy, no big, Gorilla Black, that's been done. Riggz is a lot like Geechi in the gangster talk and my homies fill in the blank, talking about how his homies were putting on for the cities. Now they're doing numbers like area codes. It's okay. Horrible bar, paraplegic. I can't stand you. That's just weak. Like, what's next? The whole, paraplegic and they still feel me. That type of just. I understand that you're not necessarily going to write the most groundbreaking shit every time you sit down to write a bar, but the overused stuff gets over fucking used. He delivered it well besides his water break. His fucking water break kind of ruined his whole flow and ruined all of the momentum that he had going, to where he's rapping, and then, oh man, my throat's dry, I need a water break. Took like 10 seconds doing that, then got back into it. It was kind of one of those needle scratch situations where you're like, all right, man, we're just waiting around for you to get back to rapping. Could be nerves, all that shit. I get it, man. When you're on stage, it's a different thing than when you're rapping in your bedroom or rapping your verses to your boys. It's that kind of a thing. Maybe Riggz' hottest line of the battle was his, I got a job as a referee on my nephew's football team, but I got fired because I refused to drop the flag. Gangster shit for gangster's sake. It was dope. Geechi, round two, complains about the time that Riggz was rapping. When I was watching it, I wasn't clocking him. I wasn't keeping track, but it didn't seem longer than anybody else. It didn't seem like it was an inordinate amount of time. But Geechi's also funny too, man, where when he complains about shit, it sounds hilarious because of the tone of his voice, because of his accent. And I don't mean to take away from his seriousness. Like, you could tell Geechi's a serious guy, but when he complains, it just sounds funny. It sounds comical. So he's complaining about the time. Then he comes out with a fucking Lou Ferrigno Hulk bar, which I don't know where the fuck that came from. Geechi's coming out with bars about Riggz trying to take his style, and Pretty much I started this gangster shit. This is what I do. I'm the one that raps about my homies and everybody in jail. And then you came around and tried to do the same shit with the gangbanging stories and the struggle stories, shit like that. My gun got more bodies on it than the One Blood remix. That was a dope bar. And especially if you know about the One Blood remix, the game put many people on that. Plus the double entendre of more bodies on it than the one, and the game being a blood, and you know, there were bars there. I'll shoot you 5 to the front of the brim. I'll salute you. Pretty dope line. Geechi then gets cut off for time and complains about the time because he got cut off, but he didn't think, he said he was rapping for 1 minute and 50 seconds and got cut off. I think that they were doing a good job with the time in this. I don't think there's going to be too many people complaining about the time. If anything, I think there's going to be people complaining about the judges for a couple of the battles. But for the most part, there's somebody off to the side yelling time, and when they yell time, people stop rapping. So that's really all we want. And they should do that for every battle moving forward. That whole shit where they get into, man, we got 3-minute rounds. And if you're doing that shit, there's no reason that these battles are an hour and 10 minutes long. You know, like, yes, there's always going to be crowd reaction, but you got to keep that shit moving. That's why I really do like these battles, because all these battles are under 20 minutes each. It's a beautiful thing. They just do the shit, boom, 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 go, your turn to rap, your turn to rap, your turn to rap, your turn to rap. There's crowd reactions from the people that are in there, but they're not stopping the battle with the crowd reactions. So that's cool. So round 2 on Riggz, he comes out talking about, he wants to talk about his gangster shit too, but he has an open case, so he can't talk about it. Pretty much being, I'm so gangster, I can't talk about my shit. Okay, avenue to take. You're a gang member, I'm a gang banger. Basically saying, hey man, you rep this shit, but I put in work. Okay. Who's more believable, somebody who raps on it or someone who acts on it? That stuff. Basically, you know, just talking about, you glorify this shit, I'm out here really doing it. Once again, stop snitching on yourself. But I understand it's all entertainment. Riggz starts mentioning the streets around where Geechi lives and said, I'll go nutty on Nutty Block, leave you by the Bay Loke. Pretty much, you know, just some wordplay there. It was straight. I'll let a couple ring your way. Watch how I settle them down. Bars, wordplay there. It's not necessarily a new thing, but it was straight. Actually, man, I said it was his hottest bar before, but it might be his hottest bar now. I'm such a blood when I die, 6 people can't carry my casket. Because, you know, the gang numbers, and 6 is Crip and 5 blood. So that's a pretty hot line. Riggz got through his second round pretty well. Not really any stumbles, anything like that. He was well prepared. He did his thing. It just didn't hit as hard as what Geechi was rapping. And like I said, Geechi in California is a tough, tough battle. Even though there aren't, you know, all of his boys there to back him up, it's a different feeling. It's that home game versus away game. So Geechi, round 3. Goes back to the you stole my style. You rap like you got a Geechi starter kit. Geechi also had some more hat bars about the new era and cap and the brim and the snapback, and I'm really looking forward to the day that's over. Geechi talking about how he still talks to his dead homies, so he's been talking to souls before rap, because his third rounds are, of course, known for he talks about his deep shit, he talks about his homies, and he, you know, has that deep shit talking to people's souls, so that was pretty straight. Get carried away bar. Geechi, you've been around too long for a get carried away bar. Geechi, veteran, came through, rapped his shit very well. He just kind of showed a step above in the third round. Riggz, third round. He raps, he pretty much does what Geechi says. He does the whole, let me go deep in my third round and let me tell a story about how these 2 brothers who were in 2 different gangs and they had to cease the beef to go to the mother's wedding, and then after he killed them, and it's one of those, like I said, for me, that shit doesn't do anything for me. But I know people like that, so of course there's a menu for that. There's an avenue for that. Riggz goes on to do a scheme using battle rappers' names in it. Didn't really connect with anybody out there. It was JC, Danny Myers, and somebody else, but it just wasn't great. Riggz had a me and you menu bar, which, holy shit, don't do that. Riggz did have some hot lines, though, man. I don't want to take anything away from him, especially when he was talking about how Geechi has battled and killed more Crips than he did. So it was cool wordplay, you know, going into the gangster shit once again. So this was a straight battle. Definitely differences in skills. Riggz did all right, but you could just tell it was Geechi's battle. It was Geechi's night. But I will say, this Geechi from round one definitely loses to Swamp from round one because they're battling each other next round. And of course, he was preparing for Riggz, not Swamp. So the comparison isn't true and the comparison isn't as good as it could be. But Geechi's definitely going to have to become a different rapper to beat Swamp. And same thing, Swamp's going to have to step his shit up to beat Geechi. So I'm really looking forward to that battle. That shit's going to be dope. But hey, click all the links, do all the things, like, share, subscribe. This is a Just Bake channel where we do things and say stuff.